Nighthawk All Access continues, and it is time for the Nighthawk Spotlight, my favorite segment of our show. And so pleased to be joined by Kylee Smith. And Kylee, welcome.
Thank you.
It is absolutely a pleasure to be able to visit with you and learn a little bit about what goes on, not only in such a phenomenal facility like the Haynes and Carolyn Hill Stadium. I guess let's just start with that. You have the benefit, you and your teammates, of playing in one of the premier venues of its kind in the country. What's that like?
It's pretty surreal. The very first year I got here, it was kind of intimidating. You stepping out onto the field with a stadium like this one, because in high school we didn't have that. We had a very nice field at my high school, but it was nothing compared to this. So one of the first home games, it was a little intimidating, but it's so awesome. It's so nice to have this facility because, I mean, since it's turf, we can get out here, rain, shine, or snow. We've practiced in snow before. But yeah, it's super awesome. It kind of shows you that what you worked for your whole life kind of paid off.
Let's talk about academics, and understand that you've got your major in international studies. Talk about that.
I really enjoy it. When I was growing up, my family always loved traveling. And so I knew from a young age that I wanted to do something that incorporated, I guess, an international aspect. And so when I got here, I declared my major in international affairs. I love it. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what else I would do, honestly.
Right. When speaking of travel, you had an opportunity to do just that, as well as pursue academics this past summer with study abroad in Paris.
Yes.
How did that happen, and what was it like?
Well, one requirement for my major is study abroad. So I always knew, I've studied French all throughout high school, French throughout college, so France was the country I wanted to go to, and when they offered one in Paris, it was a no-brainer. 65
line items of accolades, an unbelievable number of Peach Buck Conference Pitcher of the Week, I think 14 times since you've been here, representing the Peach Buck Conference as Pitcher of the Week, National Player of the Year, this past season, the NCAA Statistical Champion in Earned Run Average. Congratulations for your unbelievable input to the success of the program. Talk a little bit about, I'm always curious about, with athletes that have such an unbelievable ability on the mound, how do you approach, from a mental standpoint, each and every game, knowing that you are one of the best when it comes to pitching in college?
Well, I think when it comes to each game, you can't think like, well, I had this many strikeouts last game, or I did this last game. You just kind of got to go out there and you know what you can do. You got to do your best and do it for your team because they're doing it for you too. But you also have to know, like, hey, I did this last year. Like, let's do a little bit better this year. So it kind of lights a fire into you to try and do better. But I think mainly I see all the effort that my teammates put in behind me and at the plate, and I feel like I wouldn't be doing my part if I didn't give it everything I had, plus more in the mound. So
it is interesting that you mentioned that, because one of the trademarks of Coach Davenport teams is the unbelievable chemistry that is exhibited by the team. You talk about the teammates and their efforts. What's it been like to be a part of such an unbelievable program like is here at North Georgia softball?
It's definitely one of the best athletic experiences I've had. Coach does such an amazing job coaching us. The amount of knowledge he has of the game kind of baffles me sometimes, but to learn the game from him after years and years of, lessons and travel ball and high school ball is really amazing, and it really just kind of makes you appreciate the sport a little more.
Now, one of the things that's always a challenge, I think, for student athletes, and one that not only we talked about your prowess and recognition on the field, many of these 65 line items in your bio are academic honors as well. So congratulations for that. What is the biggest challenge with regard to time management when it comes to being a collegiate student athlete?
I think you learn that your freshman year. You kind of just have to go through it and figure out when you can study, when you need to space things out between weights, practice, individuals, and like visiting professors' office hours. You really just need to know what type of student you are in order to how you can get things done and plan it out and know if you can procrastinate or not. But so I think you really learn a lot about yourself your freshman year, and from then on you can build up to be like, okay, I can give myself this much time between here, or I have this much time, I only need a little bit, I can relax, you know. So you just kind of learn as you go.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. That's great. Unbelievable numbers that you've put up with strikeouts, earned run average. I guess one of the questions that people would ask, does it ever get old striking people out? Probably not.
No. Yes and no.
Right.
I mean, my favorite strikeouts are if you need like a very intense moment, if you need a strikeout right then and there and you get it, it's really like, you know, and your team is behind you, that feels really good. But my favorite ones are just kind of like the ugly strikeouts,
right.
You know? If you don't see a pitch coming and you're just kind of like, woo, those are fun, you know? But I don't, it's just something different, you know?
Exactly. And with each competition, you know, with pitcher and batter, that's the case. As we wind up our conversation, and again, we're visiting with Kylee Smith, our Nighthawks Spotlight athlete for this edition of Nighthawks All Access. I want to look back at your time here at Dahlonega, and I know so many highlights in the time that you've been here. Is there one that stands out as far as a favorite moment of your time here in North Georgia?
Athletically or overall?
Across the board.
Okay. Well, I'll give you two. Athletically, it was so awesome to go my sophomore year when we went to Salem, Virginia for the World Series. That was such an experience, and that was a great group of girls. I love them. Still talk to them. Some of them are still on the team, you know, so that was cool. Overall, I just love like our little get-togethers as a team. Like we do a Friendsgiving every year. That's fun. Just hanging out with the girls, being, you know, not maybe taking softball out of it, because sometimes that can just be a lot at times. So just hanging out with everybody, Christmas parties with Coach. I think just hanging out with everybody, becoming a family on and off the field.
That is great. Kylee, we can't thank you enough for being with us today.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, and congratulations on all that you've accomplished to this point. Greatly look forward to the coming season and following the team as they compete for yet another championship.
Yeah.
All right. Kylee Smith, you bet. Kylee Smith, our Nighthawk Spotlight. Stay with us. Back in just a moment.